Welcome back to the C Morning Show. All right, it's time for our first talk show of the day. But before we dig deeper into our conversation with Caroline, right here. Okay, do you have a pet or you are an animal person?
No, because three of my children are allergic to dust and to fur, so we don't. But we do have a pet fish.
Yeah, of course. I don't know.
What about you?
Consider with that, but we are going to talk about that
That's
later.
right.
So basically, no, I'm not an animal person as well. I think I love to see the animals. I love to see dogs and cats.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a
From a safe distance.
Something.
But you like to go to the zoo, right?
I love to go to the zoo, but I don't know if I want to have it inside.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of responsibilities,
Yeah.
but of course, having a dog or cat or any pets is very much fun. You have your, another family member from the animal kingdom. But of course, behind all that cuteness, there are diseases that can spread, and that's why vaccination is very much important to protect your loved ones from serious illness. I mean, the pets.
Yeah, of course. And to help us understand more about why vaccinations matter for your pets, we are now joined by Dr. Lady Konfidenia. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
So, welcome to our studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is not her first time.
That's right.
But she did it online back then.
I did it online back then.
All right, now you're here. So please tell us more about why is vaccinations are important for pets, though.
Okay. So let me start first with how vaccine works. So it's actually very similar to how vaccine works in humans too. So vaccine works by tricking the body into thinking that an infection has been happening. So the body will try to form antibody to fight those infections. And the most important thing is the antibody will try to remember the infection or the pathogen so it can fight the disease later if the real disease comes and transmit the disease into the pets. So it's pretty much the same
With vaccinations
with
for humans,
our
right?
own
Yeah.
vaccinations.
Yeah.
And this is very important because in animals, as we know, that there are a lot of diseases that are very, very contagious. And it can transmit. Sometimes it can also transmit to humans. That's called zoonotic diseases, like rabies or leptospirosis. And this is very fatal because it can also, it is very dangerous to public health because it can.
Right. So, doctor, I mean, vaccination, it is very mandatory, especially for young humans or babies. So does for pets, especially for puppies or maybe kittens, is there any mandatory vaccines that they need to have just like us?
To all of the pets, it's not actually not only puppies and kittens, but adult cats and also adult dogs that hasn't been vaccinated since the young age also need to be vaccinated at least once for single administration. And the core vaccines for the first vaccine, it's different within species. For cats, there is 3 core vaccines, which is Paralicopineovirus, calicivirus, and herpesvirus. That is protected against the rhinotracheitis, which is like a respiratory distress for cats. And dogs, the core vaccines are distemper virus, and there's a parainfluenza virus also, parvovirus, and adenovirus, which cause hepatitis. And those are the core vaccines.
Right. So is it okay if they are administered with, more than once? Because you said it's actually mandatory for them to have one vaccine only. Let's say one is taking an animal from an animal shelter and they don't have any background history or medical history for the pets. Is it okay for those dogs, cats, or their pets to get administered more than one vaccine?
You mean like the disease? You administer more than one kind of vaccine?
Yes.
To the pets. It is actually very, very dependent on the history of the patients. But if you are talking about the patient history, like stray dogs or stray cats that with unknown history, then it is. Then we are going to given the owner of the precaution first. But most of the time, it is very okay because the risk or the side effects of vaccines are very minimum, and it happens in less than 1% actually. The moderate to severe risk
Complications.
or potential side effects of vaccines. So
Oh.
it's generally very, very safe.
Okay, speaking about that, since you mentioned about the risk and also the side effects, what is the common side effects for the animals that probably will be impacted to the pets that people should be aware of?
It ranges from mild to severe risk of vaccinations. So mild to like swelling of the injection site and also like light fever or a little bit of lethargic because, we are giving them like the weakened disease.
Right.
So a fever is most likely the most probable side effects that could occur. But in this more severe risk of vaccinations, they can get the respiratory distress, or even like we call it anaphylaxis or allergic shock, or even collapsing. So we are going to, after every vaccinations, me as a vet and most of the vets in Indonesia too, we are going to ask the owner to stay for at least 15 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Like, to
So for you
see-
to assess.
Yeah, to
To
assess
see
and to
what-
see
yeah, the
whether there is a
reactions.
reaction. Because if the reaction is very, very fast,
Yep.
like maybe in 10 to 15 minutes after the vaccination administrations, it's more severe mostly.
okay.
Yeah. So if after 30 minutes it's safe, I think it's generally safe, but you need to observe it closely at home for at least 24 hours.
To see how they, held up after the vaccination. Is there any pets that's allergic to vaccine?
I'm about to.
Yeah, because sometimes
I wonder because humans have.
that's right.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Because allergic, as in allergic reactions, of course, there are a lot of pets that can be allergic to vaccination. So that's why it's important for the owners to actually note any side effects or any adverse reaction that happen after vaccinations, after every vaccinations. So because a vaccination is not only given one time only in a life, it's going to be given like annually or even every 3 months, 4 weeks. So it's very important to note any adverse reaction. So if we already know, as a veterinarian, we already know that, this dog has an adverse reaction on the previous vaccines, then we can prevent it by, for example, giving antihistamine or any other medication.
Right.
But sometimes it is not very effective. But we can get a glimpse of precaution.
Okay.
If something.
So then we as the owners have to be very aware.
Yes.
Right? And not
Strictly
only as a vet, but also us to
True,
understand how they are, especially when they're at home.
Yeah, the owners is the most understand. Yeah, the one who
they
knows
know, yeah.
Correct.
very well about.
Is there
their own
any
pets.
some kind of preparations before the pets get vaccinated? I mean, to prepare about the conditions of their pets or something like that. To, even maybe for the small cats or dogs or puppies, because they're very vulnerable, right?
Yeah, they are very vulnerable and fragile. So the most important thing is they cannot be sick. That's the first one. No sick animals can be vaccinated.
Okay, so that's the same as humans, right? If you have a
It's
fever, you have to
quite
go back
very,
again.
Very same. It's
Yes.
like quite similar as humans.
Yeah.
And also there are like minimum age requirements
Oh.
for vaccinations. Most of pets, either cats or dogs, can be vaccinated as fast as 6 weeks to 8 weeks old. And it's safer if they're also 1 kilograms.
Oh,
Minimum.
no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are like babies, right? You're like, it's just like how
Yeah,
babies
because they're
is.
very vulnerable.
That's right. Now we want to also know, doctor, because some people are still very reluctant to get their pets vaccines.
Yeah.
What are the dangers effect for the pet itself and also for the other pets? That if they're encountered together, because we know there's a lot of parks nowadays, and sometimes you will take your dogs or your cats
To play around.
together, to socialize and interact. But if you do not have your pet's vaccine, how could that also be dangerous for other pets?
That's also the same as humans.
Yeah.
Like if we got COVID, we cannot
True.
go outside. We need to be isolated. It's
Yeah,
the
but they
very
can't
much-
use masks, by the way.
Yeah, they cannot
right?
use masks. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They won't know if other pets are infected.
Wow.
Like, so it's our own responsibility to protect our own pets, because not only they're going to spread the disease to other pets, they can also spread the disease to humans.
humans,
That's
with
right,
zoonotic
yeah.
diseases.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also it can trigger public health emergency if an outbreak is happening.
Yes.
It's kind of very much a big deal for pet owners
Yeah.
to be aware of their pets and
Yeah.
get vaccinated.
Wow.
Sometimes you don't think it's serious enough. Oh, it's
Exactly.
okay. You know,
There's
they're
a lot of considerations regarding to pets and also
Yes.
the vaccinations. If you are deciding to have a pet, so that's one thing that for sure that you have to do.
That's why
Mandatory.
That is mandatory, and that's why, Doctor, can you share with all of the viewers right now how important is our pets should be vaccinated if they're still very reluctant?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one, of course, I'm going to explain that the benefit of vaccination outweighs the risk.
Yep.
The risk is like less than 1% that is going to be an adverse reaction, like a severe adverse reaction is less than 1% happening. So 99% vaccination is going to be successful without any adverse reactions happen.
Okay, yes.
So that's already a very much chance, very big chance of the vaccination to be successful.
Right.
And of course, I'm going to also tell them that they are not alone in treating their pets, because us as veterinarians could help them. If they are still very much reluctant, we can also explain to them what is the benefits and what is also the risk of individuals, because every individuals of animals are different.
Yes.
And if they don't really trust one vet, they can go to another vet until they're satisfied.
To find
So
what suits them.
Yeah,
right?
what suits them,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That's true.
So there you go. I mean, if you're reluctant because you love your furry animals very much,
Right.
yes.
So much information.
That's right. And you can also go to the vet. You can also go to Dr. Lady and ask about, the certain vaccination and, what would be the reaction for your pets and whatnot. But if you said, I haven't had my pets vaccinated yet because I don't have the time, it means that you don't love your furry animal or your furry family member that much yet. So it is very important, as you said, Shafira, to have your pets vaccinated. But right now, we were going to play a game, Dr. Lady, okay? So we're going to play a game. It's called Myth or Fact. We will have it on the big screen and during the statement or whatever the topic is right now in regards to pets, of course.
Yeah.
But, of course, both of us.
Okay.
We will decide
myth or fact.
or facts.
Since
Yes.
we're
Yes.
Probably.
And then Dr. Lady will tell us
Okay.
the truth about this. All right,
Oh my
here we
God.
go. Let's
Okay,
go.
Let's guess it.
Myth or fact, adult cats don't need vaccines? Myth.
Myth.
They need vaccines. Is
They
that
need
true,
vaccines.
Doc?
So,
So I think I've already answered.
it's a myth, right?
Yeah, it's a
totally
myth.
wrong.
Yes.
Even adult cats need vaccine.
That's right.
That's the importance of having a
But the
vaccine.
difference is, in adult cats, most of them can do a single administration of vaccines. And
They can do single throughout their lifespan.
yeah, because adults do not necessarily carry a maternal antibodies anymore, so they can do single administration.
Right.
Because sometimes vaccines interfere with maternal antibodies on kittens and puppies. That's why we do revaccinations every 4 weeks.
All right.
Okay.
So there you go. Yes.
So if you have adult cats,
They need to be vaccinated
Yes.
at least once in their
Please.
lifetime.
All
All
right.
right.
Be scared.
Once a year at least.
Next one.
Okay, next one is rabies is only transmitted through animal bites. Fact.
Is that no myth?
Transmitted through animal bites.
Okay, it's a myth.
It's a myth.
But I'm going to give the explanatory note.
Okay.
Yes.
Because if you say as a fact, then you already know that this rabies is transmitted via saliva.
That's right.
That's
I thought
right,
I say
right.
not only by the bites, right?
But saliva can go into the bloodstream without
After
the
the-
bites.
Ah,
Like if they lick an open wound, if the infected animal lick an
And then
open
go-
wound and
okay.
then can go into the bloodstream, or lick a mucous membrane, like the one under your eyelids and
Yes.
your mouth and your nose, then can also
Okay.
transmit the disease. But of course, bites is the
the
most,
most
common.
common
transmitted.
transmission.
Ah, I see. So it's a fact, but the
It's together.
transmission is together.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, another one. Once a pet gets a vaccine, it will protect them from all diseases forever. I think it's a
Myth.
myth.
Because there are some vaccine that needs to be administered more than once, especially when they were young, isn't it?
Yeah, I already answered this also. That's a myth.
Okay.
Of course.
Yes. Okay.
Because revaccination is very important since not any immune system can last forever.
Oh,
They can
yeah.
decline over time, so we need to revaccinate again.
How many vaccines that is available, especially for cats or dogs?
There are lots of vaccines in different countries too, but in Indonesia, most of the most common are those three for
Okay.
also dogs and cats. But there are also non-core vaccines. Like for dogs, the non-core vaccines are leptospirosis. Rabies is also a non-core vaccine, but since our country is not free of rabies,
Yes.
it's also it is
better.
very much. It's better to just vaccinate
administer
against
Yes.
rabies.
All right. Okay. Do we have another one?
That's it. That's for our
Okay,
game for today.
yay.
Dr. Lady, thank you very much for coming here
Thank you
with
very
us
much
and
for
enlighten
having
us how important of vaccination for our pets. And again, it is our responsibility if you would like to have a furry, member a furry animal member for your family.
course.
Be responsible. And if you love them that much, then please do go to your veterinarian to get the vaccination for them.
Exactly. And if you are still unsure about to get vaccine or not, just join the community so you can get
That's right.
information and find what suits you well based on what Dr. Lady says.
That's right.
So if your pet doesn't get vaccinations, it's a myth.
I like that.
Okay.
Dr. Lady, thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you,
here
Doctor.
with us.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
So we're set for another commercial break, folks. When we return, we'll bring you the world headlines. We're here on the C Morning Show, only on C Today. Now, that one is not a myth.
It's a fact.
That's a fact.